MAGA has an uncanny ability to project onto others the shit that they've done. Watch this video and let's come back and talk about it.
Well, the wind must have fucking shifted because the Democrats are taking a complete 180 stance on yet another topic that they claim to have stood for simply because of what Donald Trump said. See, Donald Trump is now going after Big Pharma, something they've told you they've always wanted. Go after Big Pharma. We don't trust Big Pharma. They're taking advantage of Americans. Our healthcare costs and medication costs are too high. So Donald Trump has told those pharmaceutical companies, you can't charge Americans 2, 4, 10 times more for a medication than you charge in other countries. And now the Democrats are mad. They're claiming the pharmaceutical companies are going to go out of business and that research and development will stop, almost as if we were subsidizing the rest of the world. Wow, who would have thought that? But see, Donald Trump has put a cap and said, you're not going to do that to us. Why? Because in the midst of a pandemic, those same life-saving medications we were told we had to have were so important to get out that they made record profits, record stock numbers. They were making money hand over fist, record bonuses, record payouts across the board for something you never even purchased. Isn't that amazing? And now Donald Trump is putting an end to it, and you're somehow angry. That's how politically ideologized you are, and that yet again proves it doesn't matter what Donald Trump does. You're going to take the opposite view, even if you've agreed with him all your life.
Well, you certainly spun the fuck out of that, didn't you? You see, the only thing you got accurate there is that the wind did shift because your side has done a complete 180. We're not pissed that Donald Trump is putting price controls in on drug companies. We're encouraging him to do that. That's something we want done. We're pissed because he and Republicans like you have fought against those exact same things when Democrats did it. First, let me read you this from January of this year. Trump reverses some Biden drug pricing initiatives, potentially impacting Medicare costs. President Trump's second-term health care agenda is taking shape with a clear focus on undoing several Biden-era policies. On Inauguration Day, January 20th, 2025, Trump signed an executive order reversing initiatives aimed at reducing prescription drug costs for Medicare and Medicaid recipients, expanding the Affordable Care Act, and increasing protections for Medicaid enrollees. However, experts suggest that the changes may have little immediate impact on out-of-pocket OOP healthcare costs for most Americans. For instance, one Biden-era initiative overturned by Trump had instructed Medicare to explore ways to reduce drug costs, including a potential $2,000 monthly OOP cap on certain generic medications. However, this proposal was still in the early stages of development, and its implementation was uncertain, according to Stacy, I'm not even going to pronounce that last name, PhD, a professor in the Department of Health Policy at Vanderbilt University and board member of the American Journal of Managed Care, who spoke with NBC News. Now I'm going to read to you from Politico from a few years ago. August 29th, 2023 to be exact. As President Joe Biden touts the first 10 drugs subject to Medicare price talks, Republicans are searching for their own message that would resonate with voters on the downsides of his signature domestic achievement. Piggybacking on the pharmaceutical industry's strategy, Republicans are working to persuade Americans that the Biden plan will, what is it you said in your video? Stifle innovation and lead to price controls. Huh. The price control is a huge departure from where we have been as a country, said Joel White, a Republican healthcare strategist. It gets the politicians and bureaucrats right into your medicine cabinet. However, the effort to reframe the drug price debate comes as Democrats prepare to run on the issue up and down the ballot next year against a Republican Party unlikely to cede any ground with campaign attacks and more likely to focus on the border and inflation. A new poll from nonprofit KFF shows that 58% of independent voters trust Democrats to lower drug costs, compared with 39% of Republicans. If they want to run their campaigns based on keeping the profits of the drug companies high, welcome, said Amy Klobuchar. Why don't they go for it and see how well President Biden does? Because people are going to understand that seniors want to see less expensive drugs. Because remember, we were the ones trying to get the drug prices down by allowing price control caps and drug price negotiations. And this is when Republicans were fighting that. Republicans are strategizing for the best message to counter the first Medicare drug price negotiations. Quote, Republicans have to figure out how to go after it, said Joe Grogan, a Republican strategist who served as a domestic policy advisor for former President Donald Trump. They go after it by taking it head on. It is killing clinical programs, fundamentally restricting the amount of treatments. Grogan said the negotiations process can stifle innovation by demanding makers of the selected drugs accept the final negotiated rate or leave Medicare or Medicaid, which can amount to up to 40% of total revenue depending on the drug maker. We all said, then fuck them. Let them go. If they don't want to deal with the prices that we're willing to pay as a nation, bringing them a collective bargaining number of hundreds of millions of people, then fuck them. Somebody else will step up to the plate. And your side of the aisle said, no, we can't do that. We can't put caps. We can't tell the medical industry what we will and will not pay. Now Donald Trump is saying that's exactly what we're going to do, and you guys are cheering it on. That's why we're pissed. These are all things we want. I hope Donald Trump does put the cap in place. I've got a round of prescription drugs sitting at Walgreens right now. Sign it today, Donnie. You said it was going to happen immediately upon you signing it. I'd like to pay half, if I could, please. You said up to 58 to 60% off. I'd like to pay half for the drugs I got to go pick up this week. Put your money where your mouth is. Now, we're not pissed because Trump is doing it. We're pissed because you hypocritical assholes have fought against this for years.